Good morning and welcome to class. Today we're going to be talking about some rhythm. We're going to be clapping some rhythm things and familiarizing ourselves with those patterns of notes that we've already learned how to put together. But today we're just going to see how far we can get actually using those in a sequence together. So what I'm going to have everybody do is kind of clear the area in front of them so that they can clap. And then we're going to talk about some rhythmic values that we've already discussed and review those rhythmic values. Okay, so can I get someone to tell me how many beats a whole note gets? And I would let someone answer. And then a half note, a quarter note, an eighth note, and a 16th note. Once we've gone over those and reviewed those, then we would talk about a dotted rhythm. We'd give several examples. We'd start with the dotted half note because that one's pretty easy to grasp since you're just adding one beat to something that's already two beats. But then we would talk about a dotted quarter note and other beats that are more divided that might be a little bit more confusing rather than just adding one to something that's already two. Then we would talk about triplets. These can definitely trip students up, but we would go over those. And then we would talk about rests, finally. Once I feel that everyone in the room has been reminded of all these rhythms, because they should have been already familiar with them for a while, then we will start talking about assessing a review. So first, I would ask one student to raise their hand and give me an example of 3 quarter notes followed by 2 eighth notes. And I would have them clap 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Then we would make it a little more difficult. So then we would do a dotted rhythm and maybe some 16th notes. But in order to keep this super engaging and fun for the students, I would probably have them raise their hands and give me examples of rhythms that they could clap so that they can feel that creative aspect to it, as well as understanding how to piece things together in amounts that make up full measures. So I would ask them to tell me what meter we're in. Are we in 3/4? Are we in 4/4? Are we in a different meter? And then piece the notes together so that they create a full measure. That starts the students thinking mathematically. Once we do this, I would pass out a worksheet that has a number of beats. So I might say, if we're in 4/4, I might say 3 beats. And then I would ask the students to, underneath that, write a combination of notes that would equal up to 3 beats. Could be rests or notes. So, for example, if I asked for 3 beats, students could go really easy and they could say 3 quarter notes. But I would nip that in the bud by asking students to not have 3 of the same kind of note. It always has to be a combination of some sort. So you could do 2 eighth notes and 2 quarter notes, but not all the notes present can be the same kind so that they're not doing all quarters or, so on. There would be about 6 different questions like this. And then at the end of our time together, I would collect the pieces of paper. We would talk through some of the responses just in case anyone was super confused, to kind of give examples of how that could work well. And then I would be able to grade those. So to finish out our lesson, we would stand up and clap some of the rhythms that the students turned in. That just helps them to see what they've written in action and hear it, because music is all about what things sound like. It can't just be theory. So yeah, that is what I would do for my lesson with assessment about rhythm. Thank you so much for a great semester.